Amazing. Thank you. Hello and welcome to umbraCoffee live from DF22. We're here in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and it's fantastic. So fantastic to be here. So thank you for the people at home watching umbraCoffee for joining us, and thank you to the wonderful audience here. My guests, hello. I'm joined by two wonderful people who've been very visible in the event so far. So, Reiter, lovely to have you here on your first time at a Umbraco event, but also on umbraCoffee. And Punima, we know and we love you, of course. We've had you on many, many times before. How are you both doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Awesome.
I'm well too.
Yeah, Punima's just come off stage, so I feel a little bit mean making her join me as a guest on the sofa here, but it's great to have you. So, Reiter, maybe you can tell me a little bit about you, about why you're here and what you're doing today.
Yeah, so I'm Reiter. I also work with computers as an engineering manager. But today I'm here as the DUUG Fest host of the day, of the main stage. So I have the honor to announce these amazing, inspiring speakers of today. So basically that's my role for today.
Of course, yeah, we started the day with a lovely welcome from you and a fantastic keynote as well. So that was, I know a lot of people on Twitter have been seeing just how inspiring and thought-provoking that was. Maybe either of you, do you want to share your thoughts on the keynote?
Yeah, I think it was a very strong message delivered. It was very powerful, I thought. I think some of the quotes really had me thinking about it, so it was just amazing. I'm just buzzing with energy, so I'm not able to talk as much as I usually do, but as I said, I think in short, a very powerful, very thought-provoking message delivered in 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I'll go back to it, probably revisit the keynote once again to gather the key points out of it, and probably use that in my daily life going ahead as well. So these are the things that you kind of pick up from keynotes, isn't it? So
exactly.
It's fantastic.
Exactly. Of course, Reis, you mentioned that you're hosting, and hosting is more than just presenting for the people in the room. We have a live audience as well on YouTube. There is a live stream of the day, including this track here, and you're hosting some, what are they called, talk shows. Is that right? So could you tell us a little bit about that concept? Because that's a new one for an Umbraco event, I think.
Well, it's the coolest thing about hosting a talk show and having all these panelists is like getting their view on certain topics. So we have spoken a bit, like we've done a talk show about the keynote, the accessibility keynote of Marie. Very important talk indeed. We forget so much. Like we are all. We can hear well, most of us, we can see well, and we often forget there are also people out there who might need, like, we have to build better websites in order for them to be more inclusive, basically. Yeah. So during these talk shows, we kind of like touch upon some points that the keynote speaker Marie has discussed, and dive a bit deeper in that. And the second part of the talk show, we discussed basically, well, we had a trip down memory lane with regards to Umbraco, because it has been existing for so many years now. So yeah, that's fun, and it's a conversation. So it's not like a cross-examination. It's like we're having fun on stage and talking about the Umbraco, the future, the roadmap, what the future holds for us.
Amazing. And Punima, have you been part of a talk show yet, or are you on a bit later today?
I was a part of the trip down the memory lane.
Amazing.
I thought it was a very chillaxed kind of environment, and there were really nice points that all the three of us, myself, Dave, and Leonard, had to say. So it was a very friendly conversation about the friendly topic that we all know about, that is Umbraco CMS today, which was fantastic.
Yeah, so this is also something I learned today about the Umbraco community. They're so friendly, they're so open and warm and receptive. I really enjoy that, and as you just mentioned, which I also told everyone, it's my first time here at the DUUG Fest and meeting all the Umbraco community members, and I really feel welcome here as well. So
That's good.
well,
Of course,
thank you for
we want you to feel welcome, and definitely friendly is it's in our DNA as a community. You may have seen some people walking around with friendly written on their T-shirts or their hoodies. It's like it is absolutely the message we're trying to spread here. So that's great that you felt that in just a few hours this morning that the event's been going. Of course, other talks have been going on. We have other rooms running simultaneously. I know that Paul Seal just did a fantastic talk about his gamifying Umbraco. There is a kind of Umbraco quiz site that he's launched, and I'll make sure that the link for that's actually in the description below so people can go take part. I'm already top of the leaderboard, so and I intend to stay there.
Okay, we don't expect any surprises there, Callum.
Yeah.
But wait, are there any prizes?
There's badges. So again, part of this gamifying Umbraco, he's awarding badges for when you answer, when you're getting a top score, or when you're providing questions. It's all crowdsourced, community-driven questions in these quizzes, so you can do that as well. Someone said that I should get an award for donuts.
Oh yeah, you totally should.
So yeah, maybe there's some other badges that can be won as well. And I don't know what the badges equate to, but maybe yeah, there's a leaderboard, and it's nice to just be on the top of that, right? What other talks we had? Of course, Purnima, you've just done a fantastic talk on minimal APIs, which was really, really good. Even with the technical challenges you had at the start, it was very clear exactly the value that minimal APIs bring and just how powerful those can be in the .NET world. What other talks have you seen today that you enjoyed?
So I was quite busy in the morning with the talk show. I caught the keynote, of course, and I caught the latter half of Dave's talk as well. But I'll go back to the stream and revisit the talk because I want to.
Of course, on the stream, Dave's talk was streamed. Everything in this room here has been streamed. But Corne, you did a talk as well. How did that go? It went great, Corne says.
That sounded like a fun talk.
What people in the audience, shout out. What was your favorite talk so far this morning? What have you seen that you enjoyed? Okay. Clearly, it's Paul Seal. Yeah, clearly, a lot of either very tired people or just every talk's been rubbish. No, I'm sure they've all been amazing. And then a packed afternoon as well. More talk shows coming up?
Yes, there's another one coming up later on today.
What's the topic of that one? Do we know?
It's I think it's about the future of Umbraco, so roadmap updates.
Indeed.
What's to be expected?
Indeed, and that very nicely actually comes along to our guest that we're going to bring on in a second. So I won't get too much more information about that just yet. I'll be doing a talk. I know that there's a handful of talks this afternoon, so it should be a good afternoon. People are having lunch right now, and a few people are streaming in. So thank you for giving up some of your lunchtime to watch us. All right, let's have a round of applause for Purnima and Reiter, our first guests, and let's bring on the Nikolais, our next guests.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so as Reiter mentioned, there is a talk show this afternoon on kind of what's next for Umbraco, and these two gentlemen, I think, are probably the best people to try and answer that. They are the Nikolais, my two favorite Nikolais, working on the core team at Umbraco HQ. And can you tell us a little bit about what you do day to day?
So as you said, core team developer, most of my days are now spent on project new back office. And of course, fixing bug.
And when you say new back office there, you're meaning all of the APIs that are powering that.
Exactly.
So you're not writing JavaScript.
No, luckily not.
Cool. And Nikolai number two?
Yes, much the same thing really. Try to stay as far away of the front end as I can, and do a lot of the back end stuff. Fixing bugs, doing new features.
Fantastic. So without meaning to give any spoilers for the talk show you'll be a part of later today, the future of Umbraco, the new back office is obviously a really key part of that. But what else are you really excited about?
Well, right now it is mostly the new back office, but also the new block grid editor that just got in the RC yesterday.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I've been going around this event trying to find somebody from Umbraco HQ that would be willing to talk about the new block grid and the 10.3 release candidate. And I was told by a very trusted source that you would be the most knowledgeable people here on that. And you've both reliably told me you are not. So 10.3 RC came out yesterday. RC period means there's 2 weeks to give feedback and to fix things up, and then this will be released. So 10.3 includes, as far as I know, the block grid as the sort of headline feature, and that's the replacement for the original grid that joined us in V7.3 and has been a staple of Umbraco ever since, and it's the new blockified element-type-based grid editor. And along with that, the new UUI is included in the back office, but it's not doing anything.
No, it's not doing anything, but it's mostly so package creators can use UUI for their packages now, and hopefully fortify their packages for Umbraco 13 as well.
Yeah.
And without being entirely sure, I actually think the new block grid editor uses something for it as well.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Oh, fantastic. So it's there for a reason then.
Yeah,
it's not just been included to add more stuff into our browser caches. That's awesome. Okay, fantastic. And of course, Julia, who's one of your colleagues, is doing a talk later about the web components and what that new UUI library means for the core. Fantastic. So block grid, other than what I said, it's elements and it's a grid. Do we know anything more?
Yeah, so it's a lot of the if you're familiar with the block list editor in general, a lot of the code has been reused from the blocks at least. So it's a lot of those. I know Nikolai has done a lot of testing with the block grid editor, so maybe he can highlight a few stuff.
Yeah, I had a play around with it last week during our cycle hack, and one of the things I noticed was it's very flexible, or at least it can be. So you can give a lot of freedoms to editors to allow them to do pretty much everything. Resize the blocks, how much space should it take up, or you can make it more restrictive or make sure it fits some standards by having this same as we had with the grid where we had layouts. Now it's just called, what is it called?
Areas.
Yeah. Areas, exactly, thank you. Areas instead. So it's really cool and it's very, very flexible. And the nice thing I think about it being in blocks is that it's much more easy to reason about. When you have to write your front-end code, I don't have to consider a million things at once. I can just, this is how to render an image, this is how you render a heading, and I think that's really, really nice.
I'm sure at some point that Niels Lingso, who's worked heavily on the UI of this, will show off a demo. He did show me a few weeks ago a fantastic example of a really beautiful looking layout, directly rendering in the back office with this new grid and the flexibility that he had to then drag blocks around. So from a short conceptual point of view, the block grid is you're defining an item, and then you can define how many rows and columns that spans, and then you can say that item also has sub-items, sub-areas, if you will, and that's the layout thing you mentioned. And then permissions for what can go in what area, and it does get very cool. The one thing I was very intrigued about, and I hope this is still the case in the release candidate, maybe the two of you know, the benefit of the grid was it's like a very WYSIWYG experience, and you can have previews rendering really nicely in the back office. With the block list, we can also have previews to render inline.
Yep.
But people complained because they had to write custom HTML and style those up however they wanted.
Yes.
With the block grid, I believe you are shipping a couple of common examples for an image, a rich text editor, and for like a renderer that I can just pick from the core. It's already shipped with Umbraco, so it looks good.
Exactly, and it's also you can use it out of the box, of course, but it's also to give examples for when you want to make your own, so you can actually see how it would be done and then apply it to your own blocks.
Yeah, because it's those custom back office views in the beginning can seem very, very daunting. Yeah. But just having an example of this is how you can do various things, makes it much easier to then extend upon it and go, okay, well, I also want a description, or I can add that and stuff like that. Yeah. We are still having some discussions about exactly how we want to do it. Right now, it's a button that will create it for you. We've also talked about maybe it should be more of a like starter kit package type thing. Yeah. So, of course, if you have any feedback, please. Let us know.
Yeah, I've certainly shared my thoughts on that with Niels and the team, but yeah, it's good. And of course the block grid is here to stay in V11, which is the next major coming out December 1st.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Something around that. Yeah. The current grid becomes obsolete basically, and is marked as such, and people are discouraged from using that because in V13, which will be end of next year sometime, it's gone, along with nested content.
Yeah, it is. It'll be
Fantastic.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a really, really important release candidate, possibly one of the most important release candidates we've had in quite a while. Go test out the block grid, provide feedback, let HQ know what you think of it.
Please. And it is also, just as a note, it's not final yet, right? It's in there. It's of course in the RC, but go test it, find $1 million, and please report it. We really need help.
Yeah. And of course, it's Hacktoberfest, so what better way to contribute to Umbraco by raising some issues and maybe fixing some as well and contributing them to the course.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, let's give both the Nikolais a round of applause. Thank you both for joining me. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this episode by asking our two organizers to join me on stage. What a wonderful job they've done. Let's give them both a round of applause, Henk and Arnold. Hello. Arnold, this is your second week in a row on umbraCoffee. Thank you for having us. I was talking to someone earlier this week about guests and who we love having on, and you're always energetic and always fantastic to have. So,
Thank you.
thank you for joining 2 weeks in a row. Well, yeah, what a wonderful job you've done today so far. I think even the moment we sat down in the chairs in this room, the standard for how this was going to be was set. We had a nice light show. We had an amazing video. Whose idea was that? I'm guessing Henk, because I've been to your Azure Lowland event as well, and the same thing happened.
We might have copied some things from Azure Lowland, right?
And we always try to do a bit more. So every event, so Henk does a lot more events a year, and then we discuss, and Henk tells me what he has been doing. I've been at those events. And then we try to up the game a bit more, because of course we're just 2 people, so why not just take more on our plate?
Indeed.
Right?
So everyone loves more work, right? But yeah, this sort of talk show concept is a new edition this year. It's a really nice edition, I think.
Yeah, we talked about this quite some years already. We wanted to do this, but of course due to COVID, things didn't work out completely. So finally, we were able to do this whole setup as we imagined it already for quite some years.
Yeah, and at DF20, of course, you were there.
Yeah.
We tried to do it in a 1.5 meter distance table thing, where we actually had the measuring tape. Like, can we have all the guests at the table, and then half the speakers had to join virtually.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it was, of course, this is the first in-person DF since 2019. You showed a picture earlier of people's lovely, wonderful faces there, and it's really great to be back in person, finally.
It's a huge difference compared to having it online. I mean, online is really nice to organize, and also for us to do some nice tricks online and have some nice camera equipment and some other streaming stuff.
Yeah, basically playing with cameras and cameras.
Yeah, that's just fun. But having people around, this many people around, is really awesome.
Yeah, nothing beats the friendly atmosphere that you get from the community and from having everyone in one place. So.
Yes, exactly. And what's going on now, like having a band, having something to eat.
Yeah, so that the streamers can't see, people watching online can't see, but on the DUUG Twitter account you see a short clip of the band performing. So it's really nice.
Yeah, and this band, it's the same band, or one of the same bands that has played at, did they play at DUUG Fest last year, the virtual one?
No.
They played at the Azure Lowlands event.
They opened Azure Lowlands.
They did open Azure Lowlands. And they're fantastic. They're like a kind of swing band. So it's, very good. Go watch that if you haven't just yet. Okay, we're back. First time in a couple of years. What's your highlight so far? What's the biggest stress been for you? I know organizing these events can be quite stressful.
Yeah, I think one of the stressful things is that like everything almost doubled in price.
Yeah.
So everything became more expensive and more expensive. You start budgeting in the beginning of the year, and then you see your cost rising, and you're like, oh, okay, are we going to make it? Yes or no? Yes or no? And getting everything arranged, because it is always also very busy. Everyone is trying to run their event just before the winter peak of COVID. Yep. So everything is squeezed, and you have to find your lamps and people to help you and those things. So that was kind of the most stressful things.
Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, how we do events, it's like we just roll out our playbook and we add some stuff on top of it, and there are some challenges, but it does work.
It came together again.
Yeah.
Well done. Fantastic. Highlight then of today so far?
For me, the opening keynote.
Yeah, for me the same.
It was fantastic. Really fantastic.
Such a good story.
Such an amazing story. And as we've mentioned already, but that's recorded. It's on YouTube. You can go and watch it. But I think even being in the room, it was just even more fantastic.
It was also interesting because some people came in late and they were standing in the back and they're like, there's something off here, but they couldn't tell directly.
Yeah. So for anyone that didn't see it, who's watching live, the speaker was deaf and delivered the entire talk in sign language, but of course had two fantastic interpreters there to not only communicate what the audience were kind of saying, laughing, etc., to her, but also to then orate what she was saying with sign language, which in itself, an amazing job to do to do a whole half an hour, and I know they swapped over halfway, but to do a whole half an hour keynote and interpret sign language for that whole time is really incredible. Really, really incredible.
And also something different than people are used to with
Yeah.
an opening keynote.
100%.
It leaves a bigger impression that way.
100%. And I definitely think it left a very, very big impression. So, very good choice. I'm never disappointed with the DUUG Fest keynotes. I think 2019 we had.
We had Niels closing.
We did have Niels
And we
closing.
had Felina opening.
Felina's talk as well.
All the amazing drawings.
Yes, was very, very good. It was very good. So I guess you've set a very high standard for events. It's sort of what
mainly
we've come
for
to
ourselves.
expect.
That's a bit of the,
Yeah.
the challenge.
Amazing.
So again, I want to say, if someone wants to help us throughout the whole year and not just on this day itself, we will always find people to help on the day itself. But we also need people to support us, think with us for these events, have nice meals with us while thinking about all this stuff. Then please come to us and talk to us.
Yeah,
We would love to have a few more people doing this and not just
You said
us.
you said at the start that you've been two organisers now for 3 years, since 2019, really. So for since 2018.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
The 2018 Martijn was still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in 2019, Martijn was given the
The
DUUG MVP.
You still owe him a shirt.
You still owe him the shirt. Oh right. Yeah. So you've been doing this alone. This is your 4th event where it's just the two of you.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
it
and this is the first one that didn't get cancelled.
the first one. So yeah, it's very good to see that you can put this on, but it's fun. It's more fun with a group, right? Much more fun with a group.
Absolutely. Great. Yeah.
So if you're in the Netherlands, if you'd like to help out the DUUG gang organizing a future event, let them know. You have a meetup coming up on November 3rd,
Yes.
hosted by IO. So that's great to see the meetups are bouncing back as well.
Yeah, there's also something we do as DUUG. We support meetups, so we set up the meetup on meetup.com. We send out some social media stuff, some emails. We help them with all of that.
Yeah.
But the party organizing or the agency organizing the meetup, they have to do the meetup themselves, basically. But
Yeah.
we will help them with everything around it and support and all that.
Amazing.
So we hope to bring it back now, but let's see what COVID does in the coming months.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Fingers crossed.
All right, amazing. Just because I have an audience here, and because the UK community are largely watching too, I'm going to make an announcement. I've been in the US for 2 weeks, and I arrived yesterday morning, very, very early. But I've been getting a lot of messages very early in the morning for me the past 2 weeks saying, what's going on with the UK Fest? So, if you go right now to umbraco.community/together, everything's there, tickets are on sale, call for speakers is open, we have an event. The dates have already been set and announced before, but there's been nothing formal because of things I won't get into here. But yeah, please go there, buy your tickets. We hope to have an event in the middle of November. Hopefully see some of the people here as well at that event, but yeah, it would be good to see some community here and maybe capture just a little bit of the DUUG energy that you've had here, because it's been really good fun. Let's give Arnold and Henk a round of applause. And thank you all for tuning into umbraCoffee, either in person here or live on YouTube. I need to go get lunch, so we will see you all next Friday for regular umbraCoffee. Marcin will be back. Thank you very much.